California Governor Gavin Newsom is now calling his city's homeless encampments unacceptable, which is odd since he's the guy who, made them acceptable, turning sidewalks into red carpet events for drug addicts, thieves, and unemployed CNN anchors. On Monday, he urged cities to ban the camps from sidewalks, parks, and other public areas. So after years of denying the problem, he's now pretending to fix it, which is like putting on a as you're leaving a whorehouse.
When Greg Gutfeld goes after Gavin Newsom, it's more than just a roast, it's a full-on political takedown, packed with sarcasm and sharp humor. With each punchline, he tears apart Newsom's polished image to reveal the mess behind California's crumbling stage show. Sky-high crime, businesses leaving the state, and over-the-top political theatrics. Gutfeld turns it all into comedy gold. Sure, Newsom's hair stays flawless, but his reputation doesn't survive the burn. California didn't get a real governor, it got a non-stop PR campaign. And Greg Gutfeld, he's not buying it.
So if restoring order is evil, then the Dems are now the party of disorder. Turns out the only system they had was wokeism, and it rotted any basic principles the party had to begin with. Which is why, like Gavin himself, they're left looking at 2028's hopes going up in flames. And this time, no one is going to help them put it out.
Gavin Newsom walks into a room like he's starring in a shampoo commercial, perfect hair, and an ego shinier than the Golden Gate Bridge. But Greg Gutfeld doesn't waste a second. California's governor isn't stepping into a debate. He's walking straight into a comedy roast, and the heat is turned all the way up.
Apparently, the baked bread exemption has puzzled observers for months, but Newsom told reporters it's just part of the sausage making of politics. So what's that mean, sausage making? We know it has nothing to do with Gavin cooking. He prefers dining out, especially when everyone else is locked down under threat of arrest. The phrase refers to the unpleasant way in which a process is carried out behind the scenes. When someone says, you don't want to know how the sausage is made, it's usually referring to something gross. California Governor Gavin Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass denounced the federal immigration raids. So now they don't want California to have ice or water. So last week, Newsom said he hopes the conservative Supreme Court will overturn the current law that bans his state from removing out-of-control homeless encampments. Imagine that. Well, what did you expect, Gavin? That the sanctuary seekers were going to show up in Winnebago?
Greg attacks Newsom's record like a pro wrecking crew. Here's a guy who can't figure out how to build houses for working families, but somehow keeps churning out executive orders faster than you can say permit. Backlog. Plans disappear. Red tape suffocates construction, and every affordable housing project ends up squished into someone's backyard or driveway. And Newsom's newest fix, a billboard campaign, because nothing says we're solving homelessness like fancy posters on the freeway.
Poster. You could be the governor of any state. What would it be? And you might say, oh, I would be in Texas, live free or die. No, that's New Hampshire. Just live free, whatever. It's
or just die.
Die, or just, it's California. Because people can live under the most incompetent governance ever, but it's still California, right?
California style. Greg sarcastically wonders where Gavin Newsom hid his magic wand, because all he ever seems to do is toss around buzzwords and call it community engagement. Meanwhile, carjackings are up. Drug use is happening out in the open, and panhandling has turned aggressive. Main Street now looks ... So
why do I keep bringing up Gavin? Well, other than my respect for his work in American Psycho, he's starting to distance himself from his party's worst ideas. Newsom, a guy who hates fossil fuels but could still bring down the price of gas by wringing out his hair, once proclaimed that his state would be a sanctuary to all who seek it. Then people actually came, tons of them, moving faster than a mob of Walgreens
Main Street
shoplifters.
now looks like a scene from a dystopian movie, and people basically need survival guides just to make it through the weekend. But what's Gavin Newsom's go-to move? A press release praising compassionate leadership, as if that's going to magically get your stolen iPhone back from some guy driving a minivan.
So after years of denying the problem, he's now pretending to fix it, which is like putting on a condom as you're leaving a whorehouse. Who hasn't?
What's a condom?
But as always, when a far-left Dem runs for national office, he acts like a Republican. This is where the left is really pro-trans.
Greg digs even deeper into Newsom's dramatic showmanship. Cancel this. Mandate that lecture other states. At this point, Newsom's middle name might as well be performance. He's California's #1 virtue signaler, bragging about government overreach like a kid who's proud of eating all the ice cream. Greg's advice: just quietly fund real solutions. Gavin: instead of tweeting from a hillside while everything burns below. Then there's the budget, or as Greg calls it, Newsom's personal checkbook. He goes on spending sprees for nonprofits, gives out grants to anyone who raises a hand, and makes financial promises that are going to crash into future deficits. California keeps pouring tax money into flashy, expensive programs, high-speed trains, universal designer diapers, unicorn-level climate projects, while basic things like roads and utilities fall apart. And let's not forget the ultimate hypocrisy. Greg calls out Newsom for banning indoor dining, then showing up in a viral photo at a celebrity-packed dinner party. Because nothing screams, do as I say, like breaking your own rules before the announcement even hits the news. Newsom pulled that one off with a smile, totally unfazed, even as the mirror cracked back at him.
So Newsom is fed up with tent cities, the crime, the urban decay? No, he's not mad about that stuff. He's mad you noticed. It's like a criminal telling a jury he's sorry he robbed 25 banks when he's just sorry he got caught on the 26th. Because this isn't some spontaneous crisis. It's a man-made disaster like Chernobyl or Fox and Friends.
Now it's healthcare. Greg goes after Gavin's big promises that never actually turn into real results. Universal coverage, mental health reform, drug recovery programs, it's all talk, just roadmaps, task forces, and endless pilot studies. But if you visit a local clinic, you'll probably wait 6 months just to get a basic check-up. Meanwhile, state leaders are busy gushing over their strategic vision. Next up, the collapse of public education. K-12 schools shut down. Parents scrambling, kids falling behind. California's academic rankings tank. And yet, Gavin keeps reeling off dreamy new initiatives about equity and ...
Gavin ponders why Dems lost.
We lost the popular vote and we lost the electoral vote. We got crushed. And we need to be humble about that, and we need to have some grace, and we need to understand why. Was it because of the incumbency penalty? Was it because of inflation? Was it because of interest rates? Was it because of immigration? Was it because we were too, quote unquote, woke? Was it because of issues with Israel? Was it all of the above? I think we are going through that forensic. We need to understand it. At the same time, we also have to push back against the whitewaters and headwinds of the Trump administration.
Access and Education 2.0. More like 0. Then comes the Hollywood hypocrisy. Gavin's business model built around golden tycoon pals. Lobbyists form a line, friends get contracts, and celebrity endorsements appear faster than you can design a new LGBTQ license plate. Greg, it's not a government, it's a Hollywood talent agency. And the big question is, who's actually producing results?
So Los Angeles is on fire again. It's like deja vu, the French words for Newsom sucks. So while ICE was out investigating a criminal conspiracy, rioters assumed it was an immigration raid and swarmed and assaulted the feds. And no surprise, the state's leadership spent 2 days giving the rioters more support than Pelosi's underwire.
Greg then
Now let's spotlight Gavin's pandemic performance. First, he's the lockdown king, shutting down salons, gyms, and even bakery lines, all while preaching discipline. From a podium, then, he's caught dining at the French Laundry, like it's a statement of power, not hypocrisy. His policies flip-flop more than his private plane schedule. Greg calls it out. Rules are for regular people. Gavin, he's above them. He makes the rules, and then casually breaks them with a photo op. Greg then hammers the budget reserves. Newsom bragged about billions saved, then burned through it all on pet projects, bailouts, and obscure grant schemes. No one understands. Now the state's credit rating is shaky, yet he's still spending on things like electric surfboards and powered boats no one asked for. And don't forget Gavin's PR obsession. Every crisis starts with a flashy campaign.
Is like a crap sandwich. The more bread you have, the less crap you gotta
celebrity
eat.
PSA.
But in Gavin Newsom's California, they mean it literally.
But visit the neighborhoods.
California recently passed the state a law mandating a higher minimum wage for fast food restaurants, raising it from 16 to 20 bucks an hour. But it offers an odd exemption for chains that bake bread and sell it as a standalone item. Why? What difference does that make? Why shouldn't a restaurant/bakery be subject to the same laws as everybody else. Is the bakers union that powerful? If you cross them, will you wind up with the Pillsbury Doughboy's head in your bed? No one will say. But according to a new Bloomberg News report, Newsom pushed for the bread exemption to help a longtime campaign donor, billionaire Greg Flynn, who happens to own a bunch of Panera Breads. Huh?
Greg Now on to environmental blunders. Newsom talks non-stop about a zero-carbon future, but quietly approves fossil fuel permits hidden behind fancy offset language. California imposes carbon taxes on citizens, while giving silent waivers to industries no one ever hears about. Greg grins. Gavin's greener in speeches than in action. Then comes the career climb. Mayor, lieutenant governor, then governor, a staircase made entirely of campaign promises. But by the time he reaches the top, the whole structure is leaning, and Gavin's still smiling like a kid who built a Lego tower without checking the foundation. Let's not ignore the task force. Madness. Every time something blows up in
Kennedy,
California,
I think the answer
Gavin
is
forms a new
yes,
commission,
yes, yes,
slaps
yes,
on a
yes,
vague
yes,
buzzword
yes,
heavy
yes,
name,
yes.
Because
like
of Israel,
Future
yes.
Innovation
Interest rates,
Cohort
yes.
or Next
Too
Response
woke?
Collective.
Yes.
Greg
Like
jokes.
every
No one
bad
uses
policy
buzzwords like Gavin.
that
It's not
trickled
about
up to
fixing
the White House
anything.
during the
It's
Biden
about sounding
administration
like a TED
started in
Talk wrapped in kale
California. That state is responsible for the worst politicians in modern history, and he is at the top of the list. And there are some ignoramuses on that list.
Adam Schiff.
Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Like those are all the people who are the products of the California mono-party vacuum. And he's the guy who thinks he's going to run for president when, so much of the state is absolutely unlivable. And so every project that he's championed, he's now trying to demonize conveniently, and people are not that
Then dives
dumb.
into the circus that is Gavin's energy policy. California shuts down nuclear plants, then begs people not to run their air conditioners during heat waves. The state that once led tech innovation now tells people, please don't microwave your dinner at 7 p.m. The irony practically melts in the heat. Blackouts are now so common that candles might get taxed as energy sources. And who do we thank? The guy whose backup generator probably runs on freshly squeezed smugness. Greg says, Gavin turns every issue into a moral crusade. Every press conference is a sermon. Every bill is treated like a sacred commandment. He rants about how California has become a bureaucratic nightmare. You need a license just to open a lemonade stand, and a PhD in zoning law to fix your own fence. Meanwhile, small businesses drown in red tape while big corporate donors get tax breaks and VIP passes like it's Black Friday for lobbyists. Gavin claims he's for the little guy, just not the one who isn't already on his donor list.